So this is what they said. They said the sum of the second and sixth terms of an arithmetic sequence is 4, right? So they said the sum of the second and sixth term of an arithmetic sequence is 4. So it means the sum of the second, which is T2, and sixth term is 4. Then they said the third term is 24 more than the 11th term. So the third term is 24 more than the 11th term. So it means it's T11 plus 24, because the third term is 24 more than the 11th term. So it means the third term is equals to T11 plus 24. That's how you interpret the statement. And then from here, they said determine the first three terms of the sequence. So using this information, T2, right? So remember, Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1d, right? So let me write down this information that side instead. So T3 is equals to T11 plus 24, because the set is 24 more than the 11th term, right? And then using this formula, Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1d. So it means the second term is equals to A, which you don't know, plus n, which is 2, minus 1, d. The difference, we don't know the difference, do we? Nope, we don't know the difference. So yeah, two unknowns, of course. And then now T2 is equals to A plus 2 minus 1 is 1. So 1 times D is just D. So T2 is equals to A plus D. So it means in place of T2, I can put A plus D, right? In place of T2, then plus. So in place of T6, I have to do the same information for T6. So for T6, it's going to be what? It's going to be T6 is equals to A plus 6 minus 1D, right? And then from here, T6 is equals to A plus 6 minus 1 is 5, so it's going to be 5D. So it means T6 is equals to A plus 5D. So in place of T6, I will put A plus 5D, then equals to 4. So that's what I did. In place of this equation, I substituted the expression of T2 and the expression of T6. That's what I got. T2 was equals to A plus D, and then T6 is equals to A plus 5D. So that's what we have. Then I can simplify this equation. So A plus A is 2A, D plus 5D is 6D. 6D. So it means 2A plus 6D is equals to 4. So there we have it. I created a first equation. So since we've got two unknowns, which is A and D, I have to create another equation. So using this information, right? So I did this. I'm gonna do this exact same thing, but for this one now. So you can even pause the video and see if you can be able to do the exact same thing, right? So this is what we're gonna do. So T3 is T3 is equals to let me use another marker. So T3 is equals to A, which you don't know, plus n is 3, so 3 minus 1 times D. So T3 is equals to A plus 3 minus 1 is 2, so it's 2D. So that's for T3. So it means in place of T3, I can just say T3 is equals to A plus 2D, right? Then equals to, then I have to also do the same thing for T11 and substitute it. So T11 is equals to A plus 11 minus 1D. So it's T11 is equals to A plus 10D. So T11, so in place of T11, this is what I'm going to put. So it's A plus 10D, right? So let me rewrite this stuff here. So T3 was equals to A plus 2D, right? That's what we got before. And then T11 was equals to A plus 10D. And then here we have plus 24. So I'm writing exactly the same equation, but in place of T3, I'm putting the expression I got. Then in place of T11, I'm putting the expression I got. Then we simplify this equation in order to have our second equation. So if I take A to the other side, our A cancels out. So it's going to be A minus A will cancel out. So let me just write down this step to avoid confusion. And then if I take let's just say I choose to take d to this side, so it's gonna be 10d plus 2d, minus 2d, and then this is gonna be plus 24. Alright, so here's 24. I'm writing the exact same thing, but in place of T3 I put this, in place of T11 I put that. So yeah, that's what we have. So a minus a is 0, so it means 10d minus 2d is 8d, so plus 24. So if you take this d, so notice here we have only one unknown, meaning in this equation we can get our d. If we have two unknowns, we're going to have to solve simultaneously. So since I've got only one unknown here, I can just solve for d immediately. So this is going to be, if I take 24 to the other side, it's going to be negative 24 is equals to 8d. So if I divide both sides by 8, I'll get minus 3 is equals to d. So I've got my d. So my d is equals to minus 3. So since I got my d, let me get my a. How will I get my a? By substituting into another equation, this equation. So remember, 2a plus 6d. So 6, I have my d already. My d is negative 3 equals to 4. So 2a plus, so 6 times minus 3 is minus 18 equals to 4. Right, so that's what I did. And then from here you take this to the other side, so it becomes 2a is equals to 4 plus 18. So 2a is equals to 22, right? And then divide both sides by 2. It means our a is equals to 11. So there we have it. So our a is 11, our d is negative 3. So our a represents the first term, right? So remember, our a is 11, while our d was what? It was negative 3. So how do we get our first three terms? A is already our first term, so it means our first term is 11. And then our d is minus 3, so 11 minus 3 is 8. And then 8 minus 3 is 5, because our difference is negative 3. So that's how we have it. So when we add minus 3, we'll get our first three terms.